Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the channel. This project we're talking about the upcoming patch coming out on the 19th of Town of Salem, and this is like a big one. This got leaked, I believe, on Reddit, and Black Media Games have basically said, look, this is what's happening here. You can all talk about it, so that's what we're doing. So there's three big changes in this as far as I'm aware. There's the Ambush and Hypnotist roles are going to be coming to classic custom games. So what this means is you can now have custom role lists including one or both of these roles. I'm not sure if it comes under random Mafia at the moment. It doesn't say that there. Mafia buffs changes to Disguiser, Forger and Framer, which I will be going over. Or trying to go over. I've already butchered it 14 times. And Ranked Season 4 will be ending. And Ranked Season 5 will be lined up. Ranked Season 5 I think will be coming after the Medium rework that I've talked about briefly on the channel. And the Invest rework. So I'll quickly go over the Invest rework. What's happening, as far as I am aware, is that Invest will now be able to visit a target twice to find out that player's role. Now you don't have to visit this on consecutive nights. You can literally decide, I'm going to check player A, night 1. I don't know if you're going to get a standard oh, this player could be this, this, or this, or this, or this, or this. Or whether you just literally say, get nothing until 2 days have passed. This is affected by Arsonist douses, Framer frames. I just don't know if this will include the new Disguiser rework. It's not mentioned there, but yeah, I will go over the Mafia rework. This is a big one. Role changes to Disguiser. The Disguiser has been updated to not only allow changing their own investigative results, but also allow them to change the investigative results of their Mafia allies. This means effectively you can disguise your own Godfather as a doctor or a vigilante or any other role you can think of, or any other member of your Mafia, and protect them from Invest. This indirectly nerfs Invest, who are quite a strong role, especially late game. The game no longer shows the disguised role on the player's death, so Disguiser would now always appear as disguised on their death, whether that's through jailers, vigilantes, or any other nonsense that happens. Lookout results will be change depending on the Mafia visit. That is really worded badly, but they do actually clear this up as an example. So let me read exactly what they've done here and then trying to summarise with an example. Lookout results will show the Mafia visit as being a visit from another player being disguised as. Now this is actually really worded badly and that example isn't clarifying it that much, but I'll go over the example. Disguiser disguises player A as player B. So let's say player A is our Godfather and player B is a doctor. Player A visits player C. So our Godfather has decided to kill whoever player C is. We'll say player C is, for example, our jailer. The lookout watches player C. The lookout will then see player B, but not player A, visiting player C. So player A is our Godfather, visits the jailer, and player B is say a lookout, for example. So instead of that lookout seeing the Godfather attacking, they will instead see a lookout claim attacking. So the lookout will see player B or not player A visiting player C. This means lookout results are no longer 100% trustworthy. The Disguiser will also be buff Mafia in total, because Disguiser visits would now also appear under Spy visits. So because Disguiser can now disguise as their own Mafia members, that means Spies will now see that visit as well. Now, big question is, does Spies see both of the Disguiser visits, or just the one? That is the question. Until I actually get to play around, I cannot comment on it. But yeah, basically Spy got indirectly nerfed due to this change. Forger. Forger's an interesting one, because originally when I did the whole proposed changes to Disguiser ages ago, I thought that is a perfect thing for Forger. And that's basically what they've done here. Forger now, when you forge a player, you can select the role that you would like that player to show up as in the graveyard. So that's interesting. So let's say I just forge a doctor, for example, and I say, I want that doctor to show as a sheriff, for example. You then have room to claim, oh, I'm a TP slot. And then be instant confirm because there's no other TP slots. Now that's capped at 2. There's a couple of questions I've got to ask. Can you now forge a player as a Mafia member? That is a big question. So like say, we've got an invest who's been bothering the hell out of us. We decide to kill that, or a vigilante decides, you know what, I'm going to shoot this. You can now forge that. Well, can you forge that player as now showing up as consigliere? Now, originally when they proposed this, they were talking about it being like an ability that, say, stays up until it's actually been used. But it's not mentioned here because originally you would be able to lynch a player and then they would show us that ability as well. But it's not clarified there. Until I've played around with it, I can't comment. We'll change to Framer. Frames will now last until an investigative role targets a framed player. It doesn't mention the fact that, because they were originally proposing the idea that framers could visit their own mafia to make them appear as not suspicious. They don't mention that at all in here, which is a bit of a disappointment if I'm honest with you. There's a couple of little bug fixes as well. I'm not really going to comment on them, but Ambush and Hypnotist are coming to classic Coven games. But yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. I think there's a lot of information, a lot of things I'm going to have to play around with to find out exactly what those two, well, all three of them actually are capable of doing. But that's pretty much what's coming to Town of Salem. So hopefully you've enjoyed. Let me know what you think and we'll go from there. I'll see you next time.